business trip.
Did the people move around?
It does tingle a little bit. Hey everybody, it's Matt and Peter with the DPI podcast. It is DPI Top 3 time. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you haven't been here, this is the segment of the show where we pick a poker chip out, and I am wholly unprepared for the show tonight. I match it to a line on our spreadsheet, and we have 20 seconds to pick our top 3 or bottom 3 of whatever our selected poker chip is. So tonight we are doing number 14. Number 14 is our poker chip. It is going to take me 2 seconds to find what we're actually doing tonight, because like I said, you know, preparation would be absolutely awesome sometimes when it comes to this show.
Top 3 restaurants you're looking forward to booking with your dining plan.
Number 14 is... we're not going to do that one. Let's see number 15.
You have to. You drew the chip. The chip has been drawn.
Okay, the chip has been drawn. So we'll go with 14. Top 3 things you're going to miss from the 50th celebration.
That is not a thing.
It is a thing. So you have...
I'm not even going to miss anything.
Yeah, you have 20 seconds starting now.
What?
Planning your first trip and getting overwhelmed by all the details? Planning your next trip and just want some new suggestions on things you haven't tried? Contact me at Princess and the Mouse Travel, and I'd love to work with you planning your next trip to the most magical place on earth.
You can contact Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel on Facebook at PATM Disney Travel. All right, 20 seconds is up. Peter looks perplexed on this one this week, so...
I can't even tell you I'm going to miss anything.
There's a few things that I'm going to miss.
Okay, I thought of a couple things.
Not many things. I felt like the 50th anniversary for Disney World was so poorly done that it's hard to really miss. So
it's hard to miss.
so I'll go ahead. I'll start because I think this might have been one of my favorite things for the 50th, and it was kind of introduced out of a forced need, and it's going to be that 50th anniversary cavalcade. It was made basically because of COVID, and it was just kind of a weird, hey, we're going to do this because we can't do a full parade and all this kind of stuff, and it's kind of morphed into its own little thing. They're doing one for the 100th now as well, and apparently Peter's frozen, so I don't know what's going on with him. But yeah, it's a weird it was a weird forced need that they had this short little parade, and it had, you know, what, eight dancers with flags, and then had the Fab Five and Chip and Dale, and it was just kind of a fun little, they had the 50th anniversary song and that kind of thing, and it just came through the park multiple times a day, and it was fun. It was a neat little parade just to kind of fill a need, but to me it was just like, it was so underdone, and I think that's going to be kind of the theme of the things that we bring out, is most of the things for the 50th were so underdone, either because of COVID or because they just didn't put the effort in that they put in for other parks. Because when I think about that cavalcade for Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary, and then I think of what Paris did with Dream and Shine Brighter for the 30th anniversary, and how much bigger and grander and more spectacular that was as a full parade, and it probably had 30 characters and 20 dancers. It just blows it out of the water, and it boggles my mind that Disney World didn't do better with that, but I still thought it was a fun little thing. So my number 3 is the 50th anniversary cavalcade. So Peter, what's your number 3?
So I am going to go with the special menu offerings. So that that was something nice about the 50th. There were many restaurants, quick service and sit down alike, that were doing special menu items, whether it be a special dessert, or here's one, for example. They had a lot of Walt's favorite things. So Walt apparently was a big chili guy. He was apparently a big corned beef guy. He was apparently a really big, so corned beef and hash type of guy with like breakfast. So there were Walt's favorite dishes kind of interspersed throughout the parks. Magic Kingdom obviously had quite a few locations that had these things, but many restaurants as well, like Steakhouse 71 over at Contemporary had some, like all around the Magic Kingdom area. And so some of those menu dishes were really good. Some of the menu dishes were kind of good. But what they were, though, is they were just more options. And I just always really love it. It's one of the main things I love about Epcot is the fact that I can go and get something new. And so it was kind of neat to see like 50th anniversary special food item on, like I said, I don't know the exact number, but it must have been a dozen or so restaurants or snack stands or whatever had some type of a special thing, and many of them were nods to Walt and his favorites, which was nice to obviously incorporate that so much. So I am going to miss some of the menu items because I did have several of them. And I'm also a really big fan of chili, especially when you put it on a hot dog. So
yeah, that one I had at Casey's, yeah,
all good stuff. Now they have similar menu items, but not the same. They definitely dolled them up a little bit and made them a little bit more deluxe.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be my number 3. I'm gonna miss some of the unique food items that came about for the 50th.
All right, getting into our number 2. If you want to be part of the top 3 show and you've got an idea for us to figure out what our top 3s are, go to the website, patmdisneytravel.wixsite.com/planning. And up in the right-hand corner, there's a little text box. You can type in your top 3 idea over in that text box and watch the show, and we might answer your top 3. So my number 2, I'm kind of going to build off of yours because one of the things that I am really going to miss is Cali Grill's special menu. Cali Grill did a 50th anniversary experience where they had a set menu, and it was kind of favorites from the past 50 years at Cali Grill. And it was just a really, really good menu if you got good service. We both had not so great experiences with our servers there. And then, ours, we wanted to go up there and watch the fireworks, and it was just the crappiest of days when we did it. So we didn't get to see the fireworks. We were actually stuck on a monorail when the fireworks were going off, which was a good way to watch the fireworks from nowhere. Because one of the doors wouldn't close, which was awesome. But no, it had, like I said, it had nods to past favorites at Cali Grill, and you could do it a few different ways. I've actually got the menu in under here somewhere. I have all the stuff from the 50th in under there. But I had a steak. I think Shannon had, I don't know what Shannon had, and we had different desserts. So it was a prefix menu, and yeah, it was just really good. I mean, the food was wonderful. Cali Grill food is, I think, depending on who you talk to, it's either overrated or underrated. I think it's really underrated because I think it's really, really good food. But, again, I think this event came down to service, and we kind of both missed out on good service at that restaurant. So, but my number 2 is the special menu at Cali Grill. Peter, what is your number 2?
I am going to say it. As much as I there were pros and cons, highs and lows. We even talked about it. Yep. I did, and I am going to miss Enchantment. I thought it was a good show. Now, if you say, hey, Peter, do you want Happily Ever After or Enchantment? I want Happily Ever After. But at the same token, I'm always sad to see a fireworks show go but at the same time, I'm happy to see it go because I just talked about wanting the change and needing the change to keep things fresh. When you go often, that's really important. Here's the thing I missed about Enchantment was actually what they added after September. I really loved the intro where they talked about the history of the park to then turn it into the montage of Disney animation going across the 3D mapping of the castle. Because Happily Ever After is very similar. It tells a story, 3D maps on the castle, but Enchantment became a celebration of Walt's dream, which, again, I am a massive Walt Disney fan, and on that topic, I have said many times, I actually read a quote from Walt Disney the other day. It was, we don't make movies to make money, we make money to make more movies. Like talking about Walt's mindset of he is just trying to bring joy and happiness to as many people's lives as possible. And I mentioned back in the Chapek era of things that he was doing everything that Walt did. Anyway, I just saw that the other day and it sparked my mind when I brought up Walt twice about how things are currently being run, and the fact that we just talked about, oh yeah, and I got to keep paying for Genie Plus just to get back a service that used to be free. But I loved the intro of Enchantment. There hasn't been a fireworks show like that. I just really enjoyed all of that. The live sound clips that they played, all that stuff. So I am going to miss Enchantment, but specifically the nod to the history of the park being constructed that happened at the beginning of it, because I'm a big nostalgia guy.
Well, and I think how much better do you think that show would have been received if they would have had that intro from the beginning?
Oh, way better.
And I think that was such a reaction to poor sentiment for that show that if they would have had that at the beginning, I think we would be talking about Enchantment in a whole different light. But because they did it the way they did, I think that it left a real sour taste in a lot of people's mouths, because, you know, you're going down there for the 50th. Some people, they only went down once for the 50th, and if you didn't go down late in that celebration, you never saw that show. So, yeah, I never saw the Walt Disney intro to Enchantment. And to me, Enchantment is like my 4th or 5th favorite fireworks show that I've seen at a Disney park, because I miss that, and it could have very well been changed if that would have been part of it. So, no, it's crazy how much the view of that show changed when that intro came out. So, you know, it's a good number 2, and it's going to really tie into my number 1, and my number 1 is pretty easy, because I have talked about how cool this show is visually, and my number 1 is going to be Harmonious. I'm going to miss Harmonious, just because, you know, for as much as people hated everything in World Showcase Lagoon, I thought that show was visually stunning to see in person. We did 4K recordings of it on multiple occasions, and going back and editing that footage, it doesn't even begin to do it justice on how bright and vibrant that show was on that lagoon.
So much to look at too.
Yeah.
You didn't know where am I supposed to be? There's so much visually going on in that show.
Yeah, I mean, really, every segment of that show had alternate versions on each of the taco barges, and then you had the main screen in the big portal to America.
In addition to pyrotechnics, right?
Yeah,
it would have been a good light and water show.
Yeah, and it's that is, like I said, that is one of the things that I think they put a lot of effort into that show, and to see those barges just be dismantled, kind of it tore at me a little bit, because man, they could have done something with those. Put them over at Animal Kingdom, do a show on the lake over there. Do something with them, but don't just dismantle them and whatever they're going to do with them from there. Put them in the Walt Disney discount store in Orlando or whatever. Yeah. But no, my number one is definitely Harmonious. That's going to be the big thing that I miss. So, Peter, before you get into your number one, where can people find you?
Find me on Facebook. Apparently, it works really, really well. I got a client the other day from Australia, and I figured it was through the podcast or some other. Nope. They typed in Disney Travel Agent in Facebook. So, yeah, if you type in Disney Travel Agent, I was very, very, I don't know, strategic's probably the right word, because I don't advertise a lot. Like, I do this podcast with Matt, not to advertise my services, but just because Matt and I both really love Disney, and if we can share some insight, see what I did there, with all of you on how to plan. Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is so good. This is so good. So yeah, apparently if you type in Disney Travel Agent, though, I will be one of the top hits because I have that verbatim in my title for Princess and the Mouse. And love to talk to you, especially like Matt said. Right now, we are 3 short weeks away from being able to book 2024. I've got 3 or 4 clients that I had to text today to let them know, and I would love to make that 20. Okay, viewers, here's your challenge. No. Yeah. So on to my number one. This is kind of a funky number one, but it'll make sense when I explain it. I am going to miss the construction push. So here's what I mean. Before the 50th, Disney really went all out to get more, right? You could even argue Star Wars Land was getting ready for the 50th, but even if we don't include that, we have Ratatouille and Guardians of the Galaxy opening up at Epcot. You have Tron opening up. You have tons of other shows and other things being created, all for the sake of increasing the appeal to all the other parks to really make this a celebration worth having. And so I think of what Hollywood Studios was 10 years ago to what it is now. I think of how Epcot got 2 great appeal attractions put into it, and all of that push is now kind of dwindling. The only thing we're still waiting on is Moana Journey of Water. A bunch of the other stuff got scrapped. And so there's really nothing all that exciting on the horizon other than the speculation of the fact that the Reedy Creek documents mentioned a 5th gate, which Matt and I have been speculating about for years. But there's, we may or may not be getting Zootopia stuff over in Animal Kingdom. We have absolutely no timeline on that. There's no big construction projects happening right now, outside of little stuff here and there, adding in, a new tower at Polynesian and other stuff. But what attractions are coming? What rides are coming? And heading up to the 50th, boy, we had this is coming and this is coming and this is coming and this is coming.
Yeah, it seemed like rapid fire since about 2019. It's just been bang, 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 bang.
Right. And it was fantastic. It was just so cool to see all those things finish. And hey, we're going down a few weeks after Ratatouille opens. Can't wait to ride it. Oh, we're going down a few weeks after Guardians opens. Can't wait to ride it. Oh, we're going down 3 days after Tron opens. Can't wait to ride it. Yeah, and now I'm hoping Journey of Water's open by the time you and I go down there in September, which we speculate September 1st is a makes sense day, like sort of a hard deadline. But that's about it, though. And I don't know if I'm really excited about that more than just like, oh, I'm excited to see the visual experience they put together over there in Epcot. It's not the same level of excitement as I had for Guardians.
No. Now here would be my question is, do you think on September 10th that we get the next big project? And that's going to be the parks panel at D23.
Maybe. And I hope, like, that, going to that parks panel at D23, which we will obviously be at, and probably do a live show right after that to discuss all of the things we saw and are excited about. That would be amazing if they officially confirm, here is the fifth gate, here is where it's going. I would also like to see them, I don't know what happened to the plans, but they had them submitted. It seemed like they had them approved, but another monorail hotel in between Contemporary and TTC was slated, and just kind of fell by the wayside. Like, those would be two huge announcements on the Disney World campus that I would love to hear. That you have another monorail hotel going up, whatever that looks like, and then that a fifth gate is being added, which is why we don't have any construction projects, because we've got to build 6 things and 2 immersive lands and a gate and a main area. Like,
yeah, and I think when you think about what's going on around the world right now, it makes sense, because you're going to have the Frozen section of Paris opens next year. They haven't announced their third area for their Studios Park yet, because they have their Studios Park they're putting in the Frozen section. Then they were going to put in a Star Wars land, and they kind of backtracked on that, and now it sounds like they're getting ready to make an announcement on that. Not a whole lot going on in the Chinese parks, Japanese park. They just don't have a lot of space over there to do a whole hell of a lot. So really the next big thing has got to be at World. You know, there's speculation about
California doesn't have room.
Yeah, but they're adding Avatar somewhere.
Yeah, they have a little bit of. So they just bought, to my understanding, they bought the area, like several city blocks worth of area north of land.
Mm-hmm.
Is what I understand. And then they also do have on the north, I think it's north, I don't know. When I was down there, your directions get all jumbled. It's what I'm calling north. Over by Pixar Pier, there's a lot of wasted space and some land that they own that would be big enough to put in an area. If they just rip out the, it's an aerial ride, I think, aerial show building. But anyway, yeah. So that's my number one. I'm gonna miss the excitement of all the new opening dates. So hopefully we get some more of those soon.
Sounds good. Well, that is top 3 for tonight. Thank you guys all for joining. Like I said, if you do have a better top 3 than ours, put them down in the comments below, or shoot us your idea for a top 3 over on the website at PATM. DisneyTravel.wixsite.com/planning. If you're checking out us on the video, it is under me right now. So, all right, guys, you have a wonderful week. We will talk to you next week. We are going to go ahead and end the show now. So, we'll see you next Tuesday. Bye now. Hey, thanks for checking us out today. Don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons to help out the channel. Also, if you're looking for some more Disney content, check this out. I think you're going to like it.